Good evening, everyone. Our esteemed guest speaker is with us right now. It's our great pleasure to welcome you all to our 10-day online capacity building program. And I am thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today's session. It's our honor to have Professor Jaswant sir. Professor Jaswant sir has a distinguished academic background. Sir has earned his LLM from MD University in 2000 and his PhD from the same institution in 2006. His extensive research and teaching experience have equipped us with a unique perspective on the legal aspect of right to information, and we are eager to hear his thoughts and insights. So, as we move forward with our program, we are excited to learn from Professor Jaswant Sir's expertise and insight on the topic of right to information. So, on behalf of our entire team, I would like to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Mr. Professor Jaswant Sir. We are delighted and excited to have him with us today, and we are looking forward to an engaging and informative session. So, without further wasting further time, it's now our pleasure to hand it over to our esteemed guest, Professor Sir. Sir, over to you.
Just a minute, I just try to connect my PPT.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
It is visible now.
visible now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Jaswant Saini and present this topic, right to information as a tool of transformation. Transformation of whom? Transformation of society. And very first thing here, what type of object of social transformation serve? First of all, to guarantee that individuals have access to information. Second, to make the government and its agent answerable to the public they govern. Thirdly, to encourage information transparency. And fourth one, to encourage administration transparency. And another one is to avoid arbitrary administrative decisions and to make sure that public governance is accountable. Another one, to keep corruption at bay, well-informed citizen and critical to a democratic success. My main purpose here to aware those persons who are participate here in this program. And first of all, I congratulate the organizers who organized this wonderful event. And I am thankful to all the organizers who provide this opportunity to communicate with you. So, very first thing we start with object of social transformation and object of RTI also same. And how RTI transform the society, that is the few objects here I settle here and try to explain before you. And these objects we select from where they are the preamble of the Indian Constitution. And social change basically idea given in the Indian Constitution preamble. And preamble very clearly define justice. Justice, which type of justice? Social, economic, and political justice. And when we talking about the right to information, that deals with the social justice. And if social justice provided to the citizens, it means our government in the rightful direction. No doubt, other justice also play very important role in the different facets of the life, but we are talking about here social justice. Preamble of the Indian Constitution is the task or the goal or the object to settle down the entire constitution. And what is the relationship between law and RTI? Since RTI is implicit in the right to freedom of speech and expression, And under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, it is an implied fundamental right. Those students who know law of contract, they know it's very well. What's the meaning of implied? Implied and express, two versions here. Implied means inbuilt, automatically provided to the society. And express means when you mention in the black and white form, that's the express. Here, implied fundamental right. And what's the right information disclosure in India had traditionally been restricted by the Official Secret Act 1923 and various other special laws which restrict the flow of information. And but when RTI Act introduced in the year of 2005, that override on all other laws, all other acts override by this Right to Information Act 2005. And I explain one important thing before you. 2005 is the important year. In this year, three important initiative taken by the government. Very first, Right to Information Act, second, Domestic Violence Act, and third one, participation of women in ancestor property. So these three acts play very important role in the life of everyone. I use word everyone. It means here everyone affected with these three laws in this way or other way. So RTI play very important role for purpose of establish our rights as a fundamental rights, and this right enshrined in Article 21, Article 19, and that recognized by our apex court of India, that's the Supreme Court, and relationship between law and social transformation. So RTI basically designed to change the society and social transformation through law, how perform. This is the task of our today discussion. Right to know is the basic indivisible form of a democratic polity. This right include right to acquire information and it disseminate. Right to information is necessary for self-expression, which is an important means of free consent and self-fulfillment. It enables people to contribute and social and moral. The Supreme Court held that in Indian democracy, people are the master and they have the right to know about the working of the government. Thus, the government enacted the Right to Information Act 2005, which provides machinery for exercising these fundamental rights. Some of the students maybe raise this question. This is not an explicit fundamental right, but I already explained before you. This is a implied fundamental rights which relates to Article 21 and Article 19. So this law basically relates to the society. So this law, basically this machinery which provided in Right to Information Act 2005, that's for the purpose of transformation the society. And another idea is here, social change and social order. The law how change the society and law how change the social order. Law is generally understood to be a mirror of the society. If law working properly, it means society govern properly, society move in rightful direction. A reflection of its customs and morals that functions to maintain social order. These laws constantly keep evolving. Laws are flexible and can be amended, and in India, we have the freedom to do so. Societal changes refer to noticeable variations in the social order of society, which may include changes in social relations, institutions, or behavior. Law is subject to change with the change in society and also change in the government, legislative through the amendments and act. And very simple and important example in this direction. If any law not accepted by the society, that law not govern in the society, that law not prevail in the society. And simple example here, Dowry Prohibition Act is here, but our society not accept this law. So there is no any meaning of this law in the society, and law is there and dowry is there. So that is the wonderful thing is here. If law available in the society and accepted by the society, that's prevail. If society not accept the law, that law automatically turn down, automatically lose their sanctity. So this is the important thing you keep in mind. Law always applicable in society, law not applicable in vacuum. So society and law play very important role, and they are the complement and supplement for the each other. So some important reasons are here to enact this RTI, or you may say Right to Information Act 2005. Very first, it works as a means of communication between the government and the citizen. So through this law, we maintain the communication. Second one, in order to consolidate the fundamental right in the Indian Constitution, freedom of speech is the most valuable right available to every citizen. But this right is not a complete right unless we provide the right to know, and right to know provided by RTI Act 2005. And third one, access to information is a crucial tool for developing and upholding democracy. So through this right to know, we advance the democratic setup also. And this democracy is also leads to a good economy or good established country or the developed country. So if democratic setup we found in any country, it means the peoples are the master of this country. Fourth one, this law empowers Indian citizen to seek any accessible information from a public authority and makes the government and its functionaries more accountable and responsible. Through this law, we establish accountable and responsible government, accountable and responsible functionaries of the government. So these are the important reasons due to whom these RTI Act 2005 introduced by central government. So what is the meaning of transparency? We know from this episode happened in our surroundings. It just from 4th June 2024, what's happened when the result of NEET UG 2024 declared. And surprisingly, this result declared by NTA 10 days before the fixed date. Already date fix was 14th June. But on the day of 4th June, the result declared. What's the reason behind that? We discuss later on. But the results, what's the my purpose to discuss this slide here before you? This slide established the role of transparency. The basic idea behind Right to Information Act 2005, why introduced? To maintain the transparency in the functioning of government. So this result either maintain the transparency, or the functioning of NTA either establish the transparency or hit the transparency. This very hot debatable question we found here. Discussion and concerns among students and educators, allegation of cheating, question paper leaks, and unusual scoring patterns have raised question about the integrity of the NEET 2024 UG exam. Despite the NTA assurance, doubts persist regarding the fairness and credibility of the NEET 2024 results. However, the court led by the Vikram Nath, Justice Vikram Nath and Ashauddin Amanullah issued a notice to NTA asking for answers and said sanctity had been affected and we need answers. No doubt, the partial relief granted by the court in the favor of students, but this relief is not an appropriate relief in my own opinion. So need to be intervened by the apex court on higher level in this matter. So this act of the NTA basically hits the transparency, and the main object of RTI Act 2005 to maintain the transparency in the functioning of government. And what is the impact of RTI on the society? We discuss here right to information gained power when Universal Declaration of Human Rights adopted in 1948. That's also in the direction to provide everyone the right to seek, receive information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. The International Convent on Civil and Political Rights 1966 also states that everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression, the freedom to seek and impart information and ideas of all kinds. You know it's very well. Article 19 of Indian Constitution deals with right to freedom of speech and expression. And this right of freedom of speech and expression is incomplete right unless we provide right to know, and right to know provided by RTI Act 2005. So we discuss some jurists also here. One of them is Thomas Jefferson defined the role of information. Information is the currency of democracy. In the democratic setup, or every country who governed by democratic means, that's information play very important role. That's used as a currency. North Korea is not a democratic country. China is not a democratic country, but by we are enough fortunate here. We are the part of, we are the citizen of democratic setup, democratic country, and critical to the emergence and development of a vibrant civil society. However, with a view to set out a practical regime for the citizens to secure information as a matter of right, the Indian Parliament enacted the Right to Information Act 2005. And basic idea to develop this right through this Right to Information Act 2005 to maintain the transparency in the functioning of government. And every citizen has a right to know about how the government utilize the funds which provided by taxpayers. So genesis of RTI law started in 1986 through the judgment of Supreme Court in Mr. Pulwal versus Jaipur Municipal Corporation case. In this case, court directed that freedom of speech and expression provided under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution clearly implies right to information. And without this right to know, there is no any meaning of speech and expression. And we cannot be fully used this right to speech and expression, unless we provide right to know, right to judge. So there are the some picture of some social reformers here. One is Jyotiba Phule, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mother Teresa. They play very important role in social reform. So the question comes in my mind here, very first, social change brought by whom? Either a individual is responsible for social change, or we required some association for social change, or we required some group of individual for social change, or we required some agency like UNO, WHO, or any government. But in my mind is here, the role of everyone is here, play a vital role. Either you act in individual capacity, either you act in group, either you act in a institution. So everyone play a vital role in change of society. And this is a long run process. This is not a process of a hour or a day or a month or a year. This is a very lengthy process. And first Prime Minister Nehru introduced the 5-year plan, which helped in industrialization of the country, creating social transformation. So everyone play their important role. Sometimes some individuals also play very important role. Raja Ram Mohan Rai play very important role to ban the sati practice, and Jyotiba Phule very important role. So there is a role of everyone. Either you act in individual capacity, either you act in group. So there are the 5 fundamental questions related to RTI. If we find out the answer of these questions, we understand the entire discussion. Very first, what do you mean by information? And second question is there, what do you mean by right? And third one, what are the elements of access the information? And fourth one is here, who are the responsible for provide the information? And fifth question is here, whether information is sufficient to change the society. Can on the basis of information we change the society? And ultimate task of every society is here, society must be changed according to the demands, and society play very important role in this direction. So we are here to discuss various elements here related to RTI. So RTI play very important role in this direction. So if I raise this question, I raise this question before all those who are the listener in this group. Which question is most important out of these 5? Out of these 5, which question is most important? Can anyone answer? Khushbu Nabi is here. Khushbu Nabi, unmute yourself. And if you are in this position, can you answer which question is important here? Anyone can answer this question?
Yes, sir. I
Uh,
think it's first one.
First one, first one.
Yes, sir. Which is
Thank
the most
you.
important. Yeah.
Thank you. We try to find out the answer of all questions here, but we start with first, what is information? And try to find out the answer of all. And in beginning,
No, sir. No, sir. Not that one. It was like whether the information is sufficient or not. It was something like that.
okay, I answer all questions, but one is important you highlight here. I'm very thankful to you. You participate in this discussion, and I always like this type of discussion where there is a two-way system. So
Sir, I think last question is most important.
last question is important. Okay. Thank you. We comes to the questions here, and very first, how law come into the existence? In my opinion, there are the 3 ways. Very first, act, statute, ordinance, rules, regulation, bylaws. This is one of the form to introduce the law. And second form is here, Article 141 of the Indian Constitution, that's defined that any matter decided by the Supreme Court of India, that's binding on their lower jurisdiction. And there is only one Supreme Court in India, so the decision of Supreme Court not binding the parties, but binding all over India, as per the mandate of Article 141 of the Indian Constitution. And third way is here, Article 142 of the Indian Constitution, which define that Supreme Court frame the law on such points where there is no any law to complete the justice. So Article 142 insists the Supreme Court only frame the law on such points where there is no law to complete the justice. So what is the purpose of law? Purpose of law is here, law regulate the behavior of the society. And law, by using sanction, makes the people conscious about their duties and obligation. Sanction is play very important role. If there is no sanction behind the law, there is means a lion without teeth. The exploitation of the people is curbed through law. The Indian Constitution, criminal law, civil law, and other statutes are designed to surmount this object. It means these all problems comes to an end with introducing this law. So right to know and right to speech, these law how related with each other, that's defined by our Supreme Court of India in four different judgments. And highlight here state of UP versus Rajnarayan 1975, Menka Gandhi versus Union of India in 1978, SP Gupta versus Union of India 1982, Union of India versus Association for Democratic Reforms 2002. In all four cases, Supreme Court recognized that right to know is the integral part of the right to speech. So the people's right to know is a basic right, and that's the fundamental rights which relates to Article 19 and 21. And every democratic government must be accountable and answerable to the general public. As per the preamble, if you remember, what's the preamble, opening word of preamble, we the people of India. So this entire preamble indicate that, insists that this law given by people, we the people of India, to general public, the government is accountable towards whom? Government is accountable towards general public. And knowledge is the main source of power. Proper knowledge leads to transparency and minimize the abuse and misuse of power. If there is an abuse or misuse of power, it means power corrupts a man and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we saw this example in the episode of NTA. NTA failed to explain, failed to maintain their dignity in the society regarding the functioning of their conducting exam. So before declaration of the result, they failed to define that how many persons they grant the grace marks. So lot of things we discuss in this entire discussion, but we now coming on the main issues here: social transformation through right to information. RTI Act 2005 did not create a new bureaucracy for implementing the law. Instead of this one, they task and mandate officials in every office to change their attitude and duty from one of secrecy to one of sharing the openness. This act main object to avoid the secrecy and maintain the transparency openness. And another example of information. Information is the very important tool in the hands of a people, in the hands of citizen, in the hands of society. And Hindenburg report is the most important answer of this one here. What is the purpose of RTI? That's a landmark for good governance and help the common citizen, especially the poor and marginalized section of the society. Primary object to equip the common man with information. Information has an unlimited potential. Information under Insider Trading Act 2003. Insider Trading Act. How many students, how many participants know about the insider trading? Can anyone answer this question? Anyone know about the insider trading? Mr. Nasrina, are you know about the insider trading?
No, sir, sorry, I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Okay. Being a student of corporate law, I know insider trading basically when on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information, someone gain or avoid the loss. That activity is known as insider trading. And in the corporate law, the highest penalty provided for this one and that penalty is here 25 crore rupees. If any incident reported of the insider trading, the penalty is here 25 crore. No doubt this penalty is the minimum side, but I use word higher side means in the Indian scenario, in Indian legal regime, I not found any other act where there is as much penalties provided here. So, on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information, one word is here information. So, information is a very important tool to change the entire society. And Hindenburg report is the one of the example here where on this information the Adani lost in a day 22% of their market cap. So, what is the impact of the information? Information system have affected the quality of personal and working lives. And in this entire scenario, so many elements are there in the working or personal life here. One is quality, quantity, purity, standard, potency, price, competition, post sale service, performance of government, transparency. So through this information, the entire scenario changes, and that's the impact on these elements also. So this is the introductory part here, and we start right to information here. This act to provide for setting out the practical regime of right to information for citizens to secure access to information under the control of public authorities, information available in the hands of public authorities, and in order to promote transparency and accountability in the working of every public authority, the constitution of two agencies here. One is Central Information Commission and another one is State Information Commissioner established. And these commissions are not related in any way. Both are the independent. Central Information Commission deals with the central information and State Information Commission deals with the state information. There is no any relation with each other. The right to information is a law that empowers citizens to request information from public authorities. And this law ensures transparency and accountability in governance. It promotes democratic participation by providing access to government records and decisions. So, if I raise this question, in my particular area, there is a private hospital. If I want to know the information of this private hospital, how I acquire the information related to this one? The very simple answer given by my students in my class related to this question, we approach to the controlling authority. So private hospitals are under the control of civil surgeon. So if we wants to know the information related to private hospital, we approach to the civil surgeon, because all private hospitals of your district, your areas are under the control of civil surgeon. So what is the international position of right to know? Right to know enshrined in Article 18, 19, 21 and 29 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948, Article 19 of International Convent on Civil and Political Rights 1966, and Article 10 of European Convention on Political Rights 1966. So international scenario also very sportive in the field of right to know. So what is the history of RTI law? The origin start from Sweden in 1766. The concept of right to information start with Sweden. And global adoption is here. Many countries adopted RTI laws, including USA and other Australia, Austria, and Hungary. So many countries are here who adopt this right to know. And India's journey movement of RTI India gained momentum in the 1990, led by grassroots organizations like the Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, culminating the enactment of RTI Act 2005. So these play very important role in the functioning of this one. So if you know the functioning of RTI, so that is the very important here to know about the RTI as a tool of social transformation. And history of RTI, no doubt, play very important tool to develop our understanding. And Sweden is one of the country where this introduced, United States, United Kingdom, and these are the years where this right to know introduced or the given. And what is the importance of RTI? Basically, RTI serve various purpose. Some of them is here: transparency in the governance. RTI empowers citizens to know about the functioning of government, and accountability. If you are perform your functions well, it means you are accountable. We know from your functioning either you are accountable or not. And democratic participation demands that participation of citizen must be there. Curbing corruption, empowerment of citizens. So right to know is the important tool. And what is the key concepts or to implement this law is here. There are the few agencies here play very important role. You maybe say stakeholders. Right to information, the legal right granted to citizen to access the information, and this right given by UPA government in 2005, which lead by Prime Minister then Manmohan Singh. Public authority, any government body or institution who have the information, they are bound to provide this information. And public information officer, PIOs, every government institution need to be designated number of public PIOs as per their requirement. But some exemptions also given to the information. If those information related to national security, personal privacy, or privileged communication, they are exempted. And RTI is the landmark legislation in India that grants citizens the right to access information from public authorities. We not take any information from private authorities, but we take indirectly through the controlling agency. I gave the one of the example of your private hospitals. So this law basically promote transparency and accountability in government. And this law enacted in 2005, and on your request, the information provided to you. If anyone relates to the BPL family, the information available free of cost. And the second situation is here. If PIO fail to provide the information within stipulated period, then even you are entitled to obtain the information free of cost. And these are the objectives of RTI: transparency and accountability, duty of government to proactively make available key information as per section 4, and responsibility on all sections, citizens, NGOs, medias, to disseminate this information, to recognize this right. The right of any citizen of India to request access to information, and the corresponding duty of the government to meet the request. And within stipulated period, you must provide the information. If you act as a PIO, lot of persons from this group maybe act as a PIO in future if presently you are not act as a PIO. And how many stakeholders? Basically, RTI Act govern around these citizens, public information officers, PIO, and appellate authority. So RTI Act moving around these three agencies, three institutions, these three stakeholders. So role of PIOs under this act, this defined by section 5, 6, and 7. Appointment of PIO, it means this government institution appoint PIO. How many number of PIO? As per requirement. In the universities, if there are the 27 departments and 50 branches, so each branch and each departments headed by one PIO. Head of the department basically considered as PIO. So section 6 deals with processing of RTI application. As and when you receive the application, within 30 days, you try to respond the information, provide the information. And disposal of RTI application, you are personally bound. If you not reply or respond, you are personally responsible. If information related to uh, personal life, that's relates, you are bound to be provided within 48 hours. So one of the question in my mind, if you allowed me, I raise the one question here. Sabaya Rashid. Sabaya Rashid, can I raise the one question? Anyone can answer this question. If you want to take the copy of architect plan of any building, can that's available to you under RTI Act? In your concerned area, in your municipality, in your municipal corporation, in your Nagar Nigams, if you want to take the copy of architect plan of any building, can that's available in RTI? Anyone can answer this question?
Yes, sir, we can take the certified copies of any document through RTI.
Sorry, sir. You are wrong in this way, because this architect plan of any building is not available in the RTI Act. RTI Act only deals with such type of information which is for public interest. So in this regard, you need to show your public interest. Section 8, exemption from disclosure. So some information is not available, and if these information relate to national security, personal privacy, commercial confidence, so justified reasons should be there. If you deny the information and exempting information, that's not arbitrarily you deny, you require some justified reasons. Section 19 empower everyone to appeal. Appeal is a statutory right. If statute provide this right, you make an appeal. If this right not provided by the statute, you not make an appeal. And penalties also here, 250 rupees per day. Penalty is applicable on PIO if they not provide the information within stipulated period, or incorrect information or incomplete information provided. And subject to maximum limit is 25,000, and this penalty is the personal responsibility. And process of appeal defined in section 19. This is the entire process. There is no point to be discussed here. This is available. The some cases we discuss here. One is Commonwealth Games scam. In this case, RTI applications by activists revealed irregularities and corruption in the organization of 2010 Commonwealth Games. And what is the impact of this information to exposure? Lead to public corruption. It means public fund, how misuse, we know from this RTI applications. NCPRI versus Supreme Court of India. This is also National Campaign for People's Right to Information, and RTI activists know all the information through the same. Some important cases I discuss here. One is Surinder Singh versus State of UP. In this case, demand the information regarding appointment and educational certificates of a teacher appointed by government does not violate the provision of privacy. These certificates of every government employees are available under RTI Act. And this decision decided by Allahabad High Court in 2009. And one another leading case in 2010, PIO of University of Calicut versus Trivandrum, State Information Commissioner Trivandrum. Information sought on the name of designation of the officers who has custodian of lost answer sheets cannot be given. University is the custodian of answer sheets. One particular officer cannot be treated as responsible. Entire university is responsible for the same. And details of the person who evaluate the answer sheet of the students is a personal information, and person enjoy the position of trust and governed by fiduciary relation. This information is also not available to anyone. So, what are the challenges in effective implementation of RTI? Some challenges here: lack of awareness, bureaucratic resistance. That is the bureaucratic setup in India. We generally not become open. Attitude of the our bureaucracies here maintain the secrecy in their functioning, not to maintain the transparency. And high cost. One of the high court fixed the 500 rupees. If anyone file the application of RTI, they demand 500 rupees. That leads to deny the information. So legal challenges and delays also there, political interference are there, exemption and reductions are there, delayed responses are there. So these are the some challenges before this RTI implementation. And what is the role of civil society? Civil society means individual, government, NGOs, activists play an important role in promoting this right. And they need to be promote the awareness campaigns, capacity building programs, and monitoring and advocacy of this right. This RTI is basically the mechanism who provide this one. And nowadays, digital RTI regime is also start. Online portals and digital initiatives have significantly enacted or enhanced the accessibility and efficiency of the right to information. And various countries, various institutions start this portal. And digital RTI also initiate taken by SEBI. SEBI also invite this one. Online RTI portals are introduced many government functionaries. This dedicated to online portals for filing RTI application. Mobile apps, some countries introduce mobile apps for this particular RTI applications, and the penalties here defined in section 20 for this one. And how much penalty I already explained before you, 250 rupees per day, subject to maximum 25,000. And this is the personal, PIO is personal responsible. So this is the important beauty of the, you say beauty of this entire law is here. PIOs are personally liable. Government is not liable. Institution is not liable. Department is not liable. The PIOs are personal liable to pay this penalty, and the section 20 deals with this penalty. So, summary of this entire discussion, we are now the summarized part. Empowerment citizens the power to access information from public authorities and fostering transparency and accountability in the government's functioning. Procedures and challenges are there, and we need to come out from these challenges. And procedure is there, and we maybe change this procedure according to the demand of the society. So I hope that this time of 30 days period may be reduced in 15 days in coming future. That's very important to keep the information on the way, or the aware about all citizens about their rights or the information within time frame. Global impact. RTI laws have global significance with countries like India, US, UK, Sweden. So a lot of countries recognize this right. Role of NGOs and activists play very important role in this direction. And future direction here, digital initiatives must be taken by the government. So this is the summarized part, and we now here in the last. Thank you. So now this session is open. If any question, I am ready here to answer the questions here. And I hope that you know a lot about this right to information. So in case of any question, this session is open.
Sir, we have a question in chat box. Shaista Akhtar has posted a question there.
Instead of chat box, if I prefer if you raise this one directly. So this is
Sir,
very.
I will read it. Shaista Akhtar has asked that there is a growing trend of RTI requesters being denied on vague grounds of national security or personal privacy. So these exemptions are being misused to prevent transparency. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. I highlight one thing here. That is totally depend on the discretion of the PIO. If PIO grant this information, there is no meaning of privacy. There is no meaning of exempted clause. So that is the depend on discretion. And no doubt that's the misuse by PIOs because we are follow the legacy of the British legacy, where there is we are in the direction to maintain the secrecy instead of openness, instead of transparency. So there is the lot of challenges I already highlighted here. Lot of challenges here.
Sir,
Yes.
is further asking that many RTI activists have faced harassment, threats, or even violence. What measures can be taken to protect RTI users and ensure their safety?
Yes, very good question, very relevant question. That is the whistleblower. One of the act is here whistleblower act. So one of the act is here whistleblower act, and second is here you approach the public authorities. In such cases, you approach the public authorities. If there is a harassment or if there is a misuse or there is a threat, there is no any other option available to us. Either we approach to the public authorities or either we follow the route of whistleblower. Yes.
So, anyone else, if anyone is having any question, you may ask that.
Sir, I think you didn't answer my question, which I raised earlier.
Again, ask your question, please.
Yes, sir, sure. Sir, whether the information is sufficient or not under this RTI Act.
The information sufficient or not, that's depend on the caliber or that's depend on the competency of the information seeker. If information seeker is satisfied, the information is sufficient, adequate. If information seeker is not satisfied, it means no doubt the information is incorrect, incomplete, inadequate. So that is the personal satisfaction. That's the matter of personal satisfaction. And that's also relates to the nature of information also. Yes. Any other?
Anyone else?
If
Uh, Sir, what about if the information is very voluminous?
okay, in
What?
this regard, you must first give your mobile number and your mail ID, and first you make the request personal visit or inspection of documents. If you insist the public authorities, first I want to inspect these documents. So this is right available to every information seeker. Being a nodal officer of CM and PM grievances, and I am also the responsible of my department relates to RTI informations. So I know it's very well. A lot of information seekers demand personal visit or inspection of documents. We provide this opportunity to all. If you demand this one, no one deny. And after inspection of the documents, you select what documents relates to you, what documents valuable for you. You only take the copy of such documents. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, Mohsin Beg is asking that how can we know whether our application is rejected by PIO, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, where we have to file RTI in offline mode?
They are bound to reply within 30 days. If they not reply, you make an appeal. And in the first appeal, second appeal, so this is the statutory right available under Right to Information Act. I already discussed in my discussion, right to appeal is a statutory right and this right provided by this act. This is not this right not depend on the discretion of a PIO or the public authority. This is the right of everyone, every citizen, and they provide this information to you, either telephonically, either through mail, either through communication, through postal. So they are bound. They are bound. Yes. Any other doubts?
Anyone else? Sir, I
If there
think,
is no any question, then I am thankful to this Pro Bono Club who provide this opportunity to communicate with this wonderful gathering, this wonderful participation.
sir,
I am thankful to all of you who listen very patiently this discussion, and I hope that you know a lot of things from this discussion.
uh,
Yes.
sir, thank you so much for such an exceptional presentation on right to information. The insightful remarks were truly enlightening, and we are deeply appreciative of the time you took to share your expertise with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks